We live in a world and a society that prioritizes performance and facades and masks more than it prioritizes you and your own unique expression. So it can be so easy to be a chameleon and just blend right in to whatever it is that's happening around you, because you're afraid that if you're yourself, you're not going to be relatable to other people. So I'm getting ready for our conversation today with my divine friend, and I had no idea exactly what it was that I was going to say. And as I was making this tea, I got a message. And this message is meant to be heard, it's meant to be expressed, and I know it's going to speak to somebody, and maybe that's you. And it says, there is nothing like you, there was nothing like you, and there shall be nothing like you. There is nothing like you, there was nothing like you, and there shall be nothing like you. It's such a beautiful message. You know, whenever I hop on this camera, I'm not the type of person that plans things in advance, because I like to capture the spirit of whatever it is that's meant to flow through in that moment. And I think that making this tea and getting this message was so divine for the conversation that we can have today about how do we get comfortable with ourselves. I really started thinking about this, because if it's true that there is nothing like you, and there was nothing like you, and there shall be nothing like you, if you are that special and that unique, how do we learn to get comfortable with ourselves? That's the question, right? That's the question we are going to explore today. Right, Birdie? Oh, it's so cute. Birdie is my dog. He's so precious. So, how do we get comfortable with ourselves? How do we get comfortable being who we are in a world where it's so easy to change ourselves? I think it's even more easy to change who you are today because of the desire to fit in with the mainstream trends. You know, we're always seeing things trending, hashtag trending, right? And it's so easy to forsake who you are so that you can follow the crowd and what everybody else is doing. So how do you forge your own path? How do you live in your own truth? And how do you get comfortable with the fullest expression of all that you are in a world that is so easy to conform to and is all that you are not? You know, for me, I grew up multiracial. I am multiracial. So I am Vietnamese, I am Indian, and I am African American. And what that means is, growing up, I had this very multi-racial, multi-perspective on life. I could see things, it's almost like as I could see the world through different lenses, because I was growing up in different cultures at the same time. I'm very immersed in the Vietnamese culture, and at the same time, the older that I got, the more that I wanted to explore the African culture and the Indian culture. And I think it was recently, until last year, when I really started to embrace all three of these aspects of my humanness. But it took a while for me to get there. And for me, allowing my hair to be as large and in charge and curly and wild as it is, to be untamed, is an expression of me allowing myself to be me, and not taming it, not straightening it, not coloring it, and not adding all these things to it, and just learning how to be comfortable with all that is. And so my hair, as much as it might just seem like hair, is a statement piece. It's a piece of, I am comfortable with me. I am comfortable with all that I am. I am comfortable with my uniqueness and my unique expression. But it wasn't always that way. Being multiracial, it's so easy growing up to forget who you are in the mix of things because you don't necessarily feel like you belong in one place or another. I remember every time I would go to visit Vietnam, I would always hear some kind of comment. I didn't even have to go to Vietnam to hear this, that I was too dark. And so I would get all types of creams to tame my skin and lighten my skin a little bit more. Or that my hair was too thick and nappy. When I went into schools, I remember people would touch it and ask me if it was real. And it was so challenging to feel like I actually belonged. And what that did was I became a chameleon. I could go in any groups, in any situations, in any environment, and I could just blend right in. And for one, it was wonderful because I got to immerse myself and I got to have this very flexible and adaptable personality where I could really just fit in. I could just blend in. And I got to know people that way. But where that caused me harm at the time is that I didn't get to know myself that way. Because I was always just trying to blend in, just trying to be like everybody else, just trying to fit in, just trying to belong. And it wasn't until I started diving deeper into really questioning myself, okay, I remember actually this summer, I woke up, I was deep in training with my body at that time. I was really into weights and weightlifting and training, bodybuilding, all that stuff. I remember waking up and just looking at my hands and my body, and I'm just like, wow, I live in this body. I live with this mind, and I don't even know who I am. I think these thoughts, and I'm in this body every single day. I wake up and I'm like in this body. I don't know if you've ever had that experience. And I'm just like, I don't even know who I am. Who am I? Who is Sandy? Who is Sandy as an individual person? And who is Sandy beyond her identity, beyond just the individual person? And these questions, this self-inquiry, this curiosity, right? Just like when we were children, having this curiosity led me down this path of exploring the answers, finding the answers. And the more and more that I started to allow myself to explore whatever it was that I was curious about, the more and more I started understanding more clearly who I was and who I am, not just as a spirit having a human experience, not just as consciousness in itself, right? But who I am as an individual, as a human being with a personality living in this world. There's two parts of that. There's your lower self with the personality and all the things that you've lived in your life that makes you who you are. And there's your higher self, the awareness, the attunement to the infinite intelligence that is sown in every part of us, in me and in you. And so as I started exploring this more and more, and I started giving myself permission to play. I spent 3 years being completely single. I wasn't dating anybody. And I just started dating myself. I just started having fun with me. I started singing a lot, dancing a lot, doing things on my own time without documenting it. I spent a whole year off of social media. And this was when things really went downhill for me in terms of getting to a point where I lost so much of myself. I put so much of myself in everybody else that I started forgetting about my desires and who I was and what I wanted. And I completely burnt out. And I tapped out of social media for a whole year. And these were some of the best times of my life because I really got to create an intimate relationship with me. And I got to understand who this Sandy is. So when was the last time that you gave yourself permission to explore or to tap into that childlike nature and just follow your curiosity? I think that the more that we allow ourselves to follow our curiosity, the more comfortable we become with who we are, because we're learning things about ourselves and we start feeling good. It feels good to learn about yourself and to explore these different parts of you, because you're so vast and so whole. There's so much about myself that I'm still learning every single day, and I desire to. And that's the fun part, right? I'm learning something new every single moment of the day. But that's because I'm asking myself this question of who am I? And it's through this exploration journey that I tap into this childlike nature and I explore all these different facets of me. And then I start owning it. This part is probably the hardest part, because we live in a world and a society that prioritizes performance and facades and masks more than it prioritizes you and your own unique expression. So it can be so easy to be a chameleon and just blend right in to whatever it is that's happening around you, because you're afraid that if you're yourself, you're not going to be relatable to other people because you're so unique and you're so strange or so weird or so awkward, whatever it is that you like. I have so many quirks about me and I own it. I love it. Those are the things that make me so happy to be me. I mean, that's what makes this human experience so fun. So fun. It's like you're a kid all over again. But we have to give ourselves permission to explore that more than we want to be liked, more than we want to be relatable. And sometimes what this requires from us is giving ourselves space, giving yourself some time for solitude. I always talk about solitude and spending time alone, because those moments of solitude, those moments of you being alone, give you so much opportunity to know yourself, to know what you like and what you don't like, to know your dreams a little bit more, because you're not bombarded or distracted by what's going on out here. You're exploring everything, every dimension that's inside of here. And that's exhilarating. So spend some time with yourself and give yourself permission to go for those long walks on the beach or in the forest, or book yourself a trip somewhere. And if you have kids and that's hard for you to do, if you have your identity wrapped around something else like being a mom, I hear this from my students who are moms all the time, where when you become a mom, you lose all of your identity, because all of your identity is around taking care of your baby. And while I may not be a mom yet, I am a dog mom, but while I may not be a mom yet, I've had the experience of learning how to mother myself. And what I've learned through the experience of learning how to mother myself is that part of detaching from old identities or external identities requires those moments of solitude, requires those moments where you step away just for a moment from that external identity. You step away just for a moment. And if you're a mom, this could mean the moment when you're in the bathroom, you're on the toilet, you're taking a shower, those small little glimpses of time that you get to yourself. And you just, instead of staying distracted with more things, you just allow yourself to be with yourself for a moment. And this is why breathing practices are so helpful, because through your breath, you can just be with yourself for a moment. And the more and more that we do this, and the better and better that we feel, and the more energized that we feel, the more ourselves we start to feel again. And now you can be a mom, and you can be a wife, and you can play all these beautiful roles that you're here to play in the world. And you can do it in such a way where you are not abandoning yourself, because you are always in there. That is your foundational piece. That is your core. And you get to take that with you everywhere it is that you go. So getting comfortable with yourself takes love from you, takes patience, and it takes compassion towards yourself. And it takes embracing all that you are, the angry part of you, the sad parts of you, the anxious parts of you, all of yourself. And that's what makes you you. That's what makes you so unique, so special, so divine. And I'm still on that journey, and I will continue to be. Because I only get to experience this human lifetime once. I mean, in this body, with these fingerprints, and it's the same thing with you. So how can we fully live? How can we fully be? And you know, one of the things that really helped me is just talking to people in my everyday life. When I go to the grocery store, talking to the person that's doing my bags, or not doing my bags, packing up my groceries. Or going outside, as soon as I make eye contact with someone, I'm talking to them. Just expressing yourself in your own natural way. And you don't realize how much love that you are offering to other people in doing that. So be yourself. Be yourself. Let's read this again. There is nothing like you. There was nothing like you. And there shall be nothing like you. So keep on being you, whatever that means to you. Give yourself permission to actually explore what that looks like and to express it without judging yourself. I'm sending you all my love. Serve your highest and greatest good, and I will see you in the next one. May peace and prosperity effortlessly flow.